A hello from the Hashknife. You can see I've got Hawk and little Envy down here. And what I've done is used him as a babysitter. We talked about that earlier, and when we weaned her, and they've buddied up pretty well. But what we need to do now is kind of make sure that she gets integrated in with the rest of the herd. And so having him with her is going to provide a little bit of a buffer. He's a little older. I'm going to be training him in the next few months. I'll probably start him, but we've got some other horses that I've got down here. I've turned out slowly. I've just introduced one or two at a time, and even her mother has kind of ran her off now. So poor Envy doesn't have any idea where she can go except for this black gelding Hawk. And you can see she's sticking pretty tight to him, and he's taking a little bit of a shunning, I guess, from these other horses as well, because he's been out of the herd a while. So he's got to reestablish himself, and he's young. And there's some of the other horses that are a little bit more timid, so you won't get much out of him or out of them as far as a fight. And here's our old boy. This is Flax's, the oldest man in the bunch here, and he's going to come down here and check things out. They've been running each other around just a little bit, not too horribly bad, but enough that it teaches that little colt that, you know what, not everybody's as friendly as her mama was. And she learned that with Hawk early on and had to establish herself, but she's keeping some distance and making sure she's staying safe. But we'll introduce another horse or two in here as soon as we see a little bit of activity, see if she stays away from these other guys a little bit better anyway. Then we'll kind of evaluate that, and as things calm down, we'll add another horse or two. There, her mother come in and is taking a look at her. And there's another broodmare, Belle. She's going to come take a look, and so they're all now coming back in. There's a little lady. She's so just gentle and quiet and timid that everybody picks on her. So even as I turned this colt out, Colt kind of come at her to say, hey, who are you? And she ran at her just like that. Yeah, see, they're going to kind of push her around a little bit, scare her a little bit, and tell her, hey, you're not welcome here. You're not one of us. And so she's going to work down there. Hawk's going to run towards her. And there she goes out. Now everybody will probably try to follow and see if they can get a little piece of the action of being a bully and increasing or maintaining their status in the herd. So far that's what we got. We'll give it a little bit more time here, and I'll turn another horse out. We'll see what happens. So I've just added another horse to the mix, and he went right out of the corral up there on the hillside and decided to take a roll. So he's a little unconcerned about these guys, and they feel good because it's warm. It's not as muddy as it was, no snow, and they are just rolling and lounging and loving this. So I would expect him to kind of come back here and check her out, and both of them out actually, because it's been a while since he's seen this gelding in the herd. But he's one of the top dogs, him and Flax. They're older guys, and they kind of put the run on everybody. As you can see, he kind of goes where he wants to go. Just sifting out some herd behavior and who's running the show. That's all this is about. And he might take this little bunch and go up the hill with them. We don't want him to go too far, because I want these guys to interact and kind of settle down with each other. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. So I'm just going to turn another couple of horses out here and let him work things out. All right, so turn 3 more out, and look at them all go. She's following Hawk, who's following them, and the old man Flax is headed down to try to keep up. And we'll watch them just take off and be a herd. This can be disastrous if you don't do it right or do it at all, and you just turn them all together. And just like that, you see that little colt getting run off. Or she's a yearling, she's not a colt, but they're all aware of who she is, where she's at, and they will continue to kind of pick on her a little bit, but she's going to stick with them because They're really gregarious, that's what horses do. And they're going to run up there on that feed ground where I put them some hay, and they'll settle down a little bit. That's good. Well, I've given it a few hours and went ahead and come up on this feed ground just to see how everybody's doing. And you can see everybody's in their little cliques. It's like normal. And there's Hawk. And it looks like he's been sweated up a little bit. He's been running around, but you can also see Envy all the way down there. And it looks like she may have found a new friend that is not Hawk, not her mother, and nobody familiar. So it looks like that's one of the old boys, old Image. He's over 20 years old, and he's kind of ostracized by the group too. So they might be commiserating a little bit, but they're up here, they're quiet, and everybody is kind of in their place, comfortable, and looking good. Nice sunny day. And here the two old men who run the show decide they're going to come in and take a look and see if they're going to run me off or not. But everybody's looking good, so that's another success story on assimilating these colts, especially the babies, because they have no idea what's going on around them, and they can get run through a fence quite easily. We've had it happen, and now they've got some wider open spaces to go, and it allows me a free corral to get some horses trained in. So we'll keep you up to date on that as well. Well, it's been about 10 days since we kicked old Hawk and Envy out. And you can see that they're coming up here for a little bit of socialization. But everybody's around here. She's integrated into the herd well. Hi, kids. And she's even found some new friends. And she was really buddied up to that mare between this black and the gray. They've become friends. Hey, old man. Big Twister here. And Bet. All of the normal suspects are all here. And looking for a handout is really what they're doing. They're not coming to just say hi. They're coming to say hi with some purpose. So we look like we did a good job of getting her into the herd. And nobody's hurt, nobody's tore up. Everybody's nice and calm. And she's actually not too fearful of what's going on around her here with some older, much larger horses and more mature horses. So that was a success.